Hello there.
Hello there.
Welcome to the What If Qui-Gon Didn't Die podcast. My name's Jamie.
And I'm Shaun.
And this week we are going to be asking the question, what if Han Solo saved Kylo Ren?
More! More! Great acting by Adam Driver there. Actually loved him as Kylo Ren. Just going to put it out there. He was amazing.
Adam Driver appeared out of nowhere for me, and I've seen him in quite a few different films now. Since then.
Yeah,
that was the first time I saw him, but I've seen him in a few different other ones. I saw he was in Marriage Story. He was in 60. Was it called 65?
Yeah, 65. The dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaur one. I saw him in something else as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he plays Enzo Ferrari.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that film yet.
Yeah,
so.
that I saw on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
This year.
Nice.
Yeah, so that aside, let's quickly
just to put it in there.
Yeah, let's just circle back. So right from the start, this is Han Solo in Episode 7.
Episode 7.
This is where we meet up with Kylo Ren. This is the third trilogy.
Yeah.
So Kylo Ren, give us some background on Kylo Ren. Who is Kylo Ren?
So Kylo Ren is the son of Leia and Han.
Yeah.
And as he was growing up, it was in this weird time where Luke was trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. We've touched on this on another episode.
Yeah.
Luke's trying to rebuild the Jedi Order. Obviously, he knows that Leia is strong with the Force. It's kind of spoken about in Episode 6. We're supposed to understand what Leia's saying at this point when she's like, "Oh, I always knew." And she says, "Oh, I had a feeling." That's basically Lucas saying, yeah, Leia's got strong with the Force.
Yeah.
Luke's obviously been training her. Their son is strong with the Force, and he takes him away. Now, Luke's got his little school built, and what happens is Palpatine and Snoke start feeding these bad things into Ben Solo.
Mm-hmm.
So he's struggling with the Jedi, sort of. Everything's got to be
the
good.
way.
Like we've said before, the way of the Jedi is black and white.
Mm-hmm.
You're either good or you're bad.
Yeah.
Whereas we've obviously discussed other avenues. Luke senses this, and Luke goes into his hut at night, which we find out in a later film. And Luke stood there with his saber hilt in his hand. It's not drawn yet, but Ben Solo wakes up, finds Luke there, obviously assumes Luke is going to kill him, which was Luke's intention. He wanted to destroy him before it got out of hand, but then he decided against it.
Yeah.
That typical Hollywood moment where Ben wakes up and sees Luke. They both have a fight. He destroys the hut, and he more or less gives in to the dark side.
Yeah,
because at that point he was like, I have no faith in Luke.
Yeah, he must feel betrayed.
And he feels betrayed. And then I can't quite remember what happens in between, but he ends up as a Knight of Ren.
That's right, yes.
So he finds the Knights of Ren, and he joins the Empire, and because he's quite good with the Force, and he's got that awesome crackly cross-guarded lightsaber, which is just fantastic, and he would hurt himself on, by the way.
With the modern day effects.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks really good.
It looks really good with the broken sort of, because his kyber crystal's it's got a crack in it, I think.
So, well, to give my understanding of lightsabers, the reason Sith lightsabers are red as opposed to Jedi ones, which are typically blue or green, is to do with how easy they are to construct. So Siths go for the easy route. So this is how it's depicted, because red as a waveform of light is the easiest one to manipulate.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get a lightsaber together when it's using a very easy colour like that. So the kyber crystal that creates red.
Oh, okay.
It's simple, but the Jedi pride themselves in honing and creating a strong lightsaber that is... And ultimately, when you watch the films, they kind of make no difference, but there is a reason that Kylo's is cracking, and he's using poor quality to make that lightsaber as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And that's why the Sith do that. They don't really care about the lightsaber being what it is. It's as volatile as they are.
Yeah.
But then you think about what's the hardest one to make, and that must be white. And Ahsoka's got a white one. Anyway, there you go. There's my understanding of lightsabers and why the Sith have red ones as opposed to the Jedi having the other colours.
Nice.
Blue would be probably the hardest outside of white.
Yeah, we'd think so. Or purple.
Purple would actually be easier.
Wow.
Because purple's closer to red, so you sort of...
It is.
You follow... If you follow the the spectrum of light, you're sort of going to go from the red into the purple towards the blue.
Don't let Mace catch you saying that.
Well, yeah, but that's because he won a purple. But
He did.
I think at that point, I can't remember where I learnt this. I don't know if it was an old school game. What was the old games? Not
Knights of the Republic.
It wasn't Knights of the Old Republic. Great game. It was the other one. It was a first-person shooter.
Oh, Battlefront 1.
No, it was. It's going to annoy me that I can't remember this. But then they did another one that was like Jedi Academy as well, and it was the same sort of setup. But it was a first-person shooter. It was a single player.
Okay.
Well, it was a single-player story. I think they did add a multiplayer to it, but there was a single-player story, and you played a character and went through and followed the story along.
Oh, okay.
I'll find out.
Find out and let us know.
And I'll let you know, because it's a great game. It's old now.
Yeah.
But I think at some point in those games, maybe it was Knights of the Old Republic. Perhaps it was one of those that sort of gave me that sort of information. But I think in the actual films, a lot of time people don't care about this stuff. They just like cool colours.
Yeah. It's touched upon in the Ahsoka series, isn't it? And is it the Rebels or the... It's the Rebels or the Clone Wars, where the what's his name? David Tennant robot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Forget his name. Haku? No. I will find out for everybody. But he's the lightsaber builder. He teaches all the younglings.
Oh, yes. I know who you mean. HS2.
Yeah.
It's not HS2.
It's not HS2, but it does begin with H. But there's a bit where he touches on it. I will come back to this in another episode. Anyway.
Because at some point we will talk.
We'll talk about lightsabers and Ahsoka and stuff. So anyway, he ends up.
Yes, back to Kylo.
Back to Kylo. He's amazing. He ends up in the Knights of Ren, which I don't view as like Palpatine's little henchmen.
You don't think like the special forces?
They're like special forces of the Empire, aren't they?
Yeah.
The Knights of Ren. It just so happens that he is a magic wielding Jedi.
Yeah.
You know, because again, we've gone backwards. So we had the prequel era where Jedi were rife, and then they went away only for 15 years.
Yeah.
But they're, old style mythical. There's none around ever. To Luke coming in. And he's rebuilding the school, so there's quite a few Jedi around again.
Yeah.
And then Kylo joins the Empire, and it's like, oh, he's another magic wielder, and he's obsessed with Darth Vader as well.
He is obsessed.
So the legacy of Darth Vader, his granddad, he wants that power because he's heard stories and he knows how powerful he is, and somehow he's got the helmet, which I can't quite remember where he gets it from. I know there's a book about it. Somebody let me know if you've read it. He's got the helmet and he's obsessed, isn't he? It's a bit like Shakespeare. He's talking to the helmet.
To be or not to be.
To be. You're part of the Empire. So all of this aside, he's a very angry soul, but he's also very troubled by it. Because there's moments in the film you see that he's really struggling with his decisions, and then he just gets angry.
Yes.
So it's not like he's just pure evil. It's very harsh, traumatized emotion, and he gets angry and he lashes out.
Yeah.
And he thinks that being a Sith is all about being angry and full of hatred, whereas actually, I think it's a little bit more...
It's conditioning, isn't it?
It's conditioning. It's
a bit like the Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They're conditioned.
Yeah.
And, the reason that Finn escapes is because he snaps out of this conditioning somehow.
Yeah.
And is able all of a sudden to see what's happening.
Yeah.
Actually, when he encounters Kylo Ren, when he's in the same place, Kylo Ren spots him as Finn's having a moment of clarity, and he's thinking, what am I doing here? Why am I shooting these people? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And he clocks him and looks him dead on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he is quite powerful, and he stops the bullet.
That's right, yeah.
That's the first time we saw that force power as well, because when Vader did it, he just held up his hand and it went in there. And he was like, robot hand.
Yeah.
But actually, Kylo stops it and almost stops time.
He went full Neo on it, didn't he?
Yeah, which was so cool.
It has to be... So I know this later trilogy is probably the most disliked.
Yeah.
And
It's viewed as the weakest by a majority of people.
But what I would say is, those people that like the OG 4, 5, and 6, when 1, 2, and 3 came out, they said the same thing.
Yeah.
And those people that grew up with 1, 2, and 3, because those people now exist, that they grew up and are now adults at that point, they love 1, 2, and 3. And the people who like 4, 5, and 6 will still say, but that's not right. But there'll be kids now who've grown up watching 7, 8, 9, and in 10 years' time they'll be going around going, yeah, Kylo Ren's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rey was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like Rey.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else thinks. I rewatched these films last year sometime, and I enjoyed them. And yeah, it's some bits are a bit iffy,
kooky.
Yeah, there are a couple of whiffy scenes in there, but
that's Star Wars. Not every scene. I mean, come on.
It's
3PO was talking to a bunch of teddy bears, telling them how Luke was a good Jedi.
I still want to know why he's got a red arm, though.
Yeah, it just got broken off again.
So anyway, right.
Yeah, sorry, we're doing it again.
This is our
one
format point.
Yeah.
Talk away. Okay, so we know Kylo is a Knight of the Ren.
Yeah.
And he is being manipulated from episode 7. It appears he's being manipulated by Snoke.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know who Snoke is at that point. When you watch that film first time round, there was all sorts of theories that he was Palpatine, but he's disfigured and he's whatever. Turns out that's not the case. Anyway, he is his master essentially.
Yeah.
In that
from
film.
Afar.
Yeah.
Master from afar.
Yeah, as he's just a massive hologram most of the time. So we also know that Han Solo and Leia Organa are his parents.
Yeah.
Now our question is, could Han or Leia save Kylo Ren and bring him back to being just Ben? And if they could, what would the difference be?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because is there a point in the film where Leia can feel Ben? So is it Mos Eisley where he comes down? Is it Mos Eisley? No.
I don't remember that, because I think she's very much focused. So if we discussed this in the past, but I think Leia and Han have split up. They've gone their separate ways. He wants to continue being a smuggler because that's what he knows, and she's got to lead the Rebel Alliance because she's duty bound to it. She can't escape this feeling that she's got to be part of the rebuild of the universe.
Yeah.
And that as being part of the Rebel Alliance. So I think she's always separated. Yes, they do get close. When they go down to see Maz. Yeah,
I said Mos Eisley, but it ain't Mos Eisley. It's Maz.
It's Maz, and in a previous episode, you couldn't remember who she was.
Yeah.
Maz Tanaka?
Yeah, I think that's it.
And she's got her little pub thing going on in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which then obviously gets destroyed. There's a big fight. Kylo Ren's there. He has a fight with Rey. He kidnaps Rey.
Yeah.
After all the fighting, the TIE fighters, Han Solo having a go on the bowcaster from Chewie.
Yeah.
He likes that.
Yeah, great scene, that.
Yeah, that's really good. And Finn gets the chance to use the lightsaber as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
After all that, then Leia appears. So she's separated from Kylo, even at that point.
Yeah. But I think at that moment she says she knows that he was there.
They only just cross paths, don't they? They miss each other.
Yeah.
But they sort of cross.
Yeah. So, and this is the thing. I know Leia's really busy. And I know Han's really busy. But if Leia's always going where the trouble is, surely she could be like, Ben, listen to me.
Yeah.
Over the Force radio. Do you know what I mean? Because you're telling me she's just like, oh, he's just so angry, I can't deal with it. We need Luke to do it.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Potentially, you're stronger than Luke.
Potentially, if she was to train,
to really train hard in it, yeah. And you're telling me that they're not connected somehow because they're mother and son. I'm led to believe that you can make them Force connections. And if Kylo can do it with Rey, why can't Leia do it with Kylo?
The reason Kylo and Rey can do it is not because of Kylo and Rey. It's because Palpatine or Snoke opened them up. They connected the two of them because neither of them were expecting it. And then all of a sudden you can see Kylo Ren topless.
Yes.
And Rey covering her eyes going like, put something on.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't expected. They were bridged by a third party.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense then, yeah. Because you would think that Leia would just say to him over the Force, "Oh, come on, listen to me. At least talk to me for a little while." Because he's all but, and I think what the film tries to do is it tries to portray that Kylo Ren is so angry all the time that even if he was face to face with Leia, who has got strong plot armor, would he just kill her and all? Because she would try and talk to him, but he would just be so angry, he'd be like, no.
And he'd see the opportunity.
And he'd see the opportunity to end the Rebel Alliance, to try and get as strong as Vader.
Yeah.
Even though that's Vader's kid.
Yeah.
Who actually was good in the end. Has nobody told Kylo that Vader turned to a good guy at the bitter end?
Yeah, maybe not.
They just left it in there.
But he's been twisted, hasn't he? So,
but by, yeah.
He'll have been told, oh yeah, they murdered your grandfather.
Yeah, even though, let's be fair, he saved the day.
Because it actually doesn't matter if Leia and Han Solo said to Ben when he was younger, oh yeah, Darth Vader was defeated, but he saw the error of his ways, and Luke helped save him.
Yeah. In
his final moments.
Yeah, maybe Kylo wouldn't listen to that because he thinks Luke's a bad guy.
In the end, yeah, and then suddenly this dark force appears and goes, "Don't listen to them. They've been lying to you."
Yeah.
Of course, he said he was good.
Yeah.
Because he'd just been struck down and he was about to die.
Yeah.
And he's trying to save himself.
Yeah.
But Luke was the evil one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luke's
not your friend.
He killed an innocent, defenseless old man.
Yeah. The most powerful guy. More powerful than Palpatine. You can never imagine.
So he was probably always twisted to sort of dislike. But there's always moments, you can see it all the way through the film, they allow moments of vulnerability where he's talking to Rey and he's talking, even when he's talking to Han Solo later on that bridge. And this is the key moment, I suppose, where Han really it's the first time he gets the chance to talk to Kylo Ren as Ben again.
Yeah.
He takes the mask off and they're on the bridge, they're looking. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's just them two, isn't it?
And Han's just busy trying to talk himself out of this situation, as he always does, and he always gets away with it.
Yeah.
But this time...
Not this time,
because
it's your kid.
Yeah, and he's so angry, and he says something that must trigger the anger again, and then he plays the kind of, oh, you've made my decision easy.
Yeah.
And Han's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
This is going to be fine. We're all going to be okay. And the next thing you know, lightsaber to the gut. And then he's off the side.
Yeah.
So.
But what if Han then, because let's move away from Leia, because I think it's quite obvious Leia, she's not going to make the opportunity to talk to Kylo.
No, I think
because she could have done it countless times. They know where the Empire is. They know where Starkiller Base is. She could have gone there.
She's focused on what she has to do.
She has to do, yeah. So let's just sort of move away from Leia a little bit and maybe just focus a bit more on Han. At that moment on Starkiller Base, Kylo was on a knife's edge, and I think he felt it because the film portrays him as struggling so much. Like I said before, he's struggling. And he just gets angry when he struggles. Whereas he didn't get angry straight away. Because there was that sort of, look, I know you feel betrayed by Luke sort of thing. And I know you've got all these things going on, but son, talk to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the first time I've seen you in ages. If in that one moment, Kylo put his lightsaber down and said, all right. I mean, it wouldn't make a good film because he's got to be a bad guy. However, if he put his lightsaber down and said, all right, let's talk.
Well, actually, yeah, Karen, I'll circle back to this in a minute. But...
Okay, yeah. I was just going to say, it wouldn't be happy families straight away.
No.
I reckon if he didn't kill him, he would definitely hurt him. So he would probably force push him or scream at him or do something to Han to really hurt him anyway.
Yeah.
Because he just feels so angry that they left him with Luke, or that Han left Leia to go and smuggle some stuff and all of these other things. I think it would take a lot for Kylo to really come round. But just in that instance, if he put his lightsaber away and actually said, okay, we can talk, and I'll tell you what happened at the Jedi school.
Yeah.
Because if he told Han about the dreams he was having, Han could be like, I'll ask your mother. She knows a bit about this stuff. Or, I know this place where we can go and maybe it'll help. Because he's been around the galaxy.
Oh, he's been everywhere, hasn't he?
He's been everywhere.
It's like he's Johnny Cash, isn't he?
He is.
He has been everywhere.
He has. So, you're telling me how odd it would have been for Kylo to tell him about his dreams and how angry he is and how he wants to be as good as Darth Vader, and Han could be like, you haven't asked me about Darth Vader. Why don't we go and I'll show you a couple of things? Because he'll do that thing like he did with Luke, didn't he? Come on, kid, get on the ship.
Yeah.
Come on, kid, we got to go. I'll make a little adventure out of it. Because I'm I'm Han Solo. Do you know what I mean? And I think if that knife's edge was just tipped the other way, I don't think it would fix a lot. I think maybe in the end, Kylo would still revert back to being evil bastard. But if in that moment he allowed himself to just go, okay, yeah, fine. I think a little section the whole film wouldn't need to change much. Because like I say, I think he would still, like, Snoke would talk to him and he'd go, oh yeah, of course I'm a bad guy, don't worry. I'm just playing him.
Yeah.
So that's what the Sith do, isn't it? We play games.
Lie and deceive.
And that's who I am. But for them minutes where Han thinks he's made a little mini breakthrough there, I think we could see some interesting scenes where Han tries to show Kylo some stuff that maybe he took Luke to see. Because Luke's obviously been to Jedi temples. What if Han takes Kylo to Dagobah?
Yeah, maybe.
And see Yoda's old house and says, look, I didn't know this little green man. However, can you feel the Force here? Because Luke told me it was really powerful here. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, kid. But why don't you think? And maybe Kylo would go into the little cave.
In the little hut.
And then he'd have a little mini trial and he would see Luke or Vader. And he'd be like, oh, maybe I'll start to understand now.
Yeah.
All of these little things that Han and him could maybe have done, like a little, what's it called, a gym montage?
Oh,
but
yeah,
like Daddy and Sometime. Dad and Son. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't make a good, like I say, I still think if when Palpatine gets back in touch and Palpatine's like, oh, I can't be having this, the balance of the Force is changing. Oh, he needs to just be really angry all the time. Palpatine's back again. He would still get his claws in, and Kylo would still be. Maybe at the end he'd do all these little things, and then Han would go like, how do you feel, kid? Like, do you think you feel a little bit better? Why don't you come home? I don't know where home would be. Like, he's a smuggler and Leia lives on a ship. Like, but all Dad said, and why don't you come home?
Yeah.
And maybe in the end, Kylo would still kill him. Maybe he would just force choke him or something and be like, oh, yeah, it's all a ploy. I feel good about the time we spent together, but I'm still going to kill you because that's what Vader would have done. And he's going, I've just tried to tell you Vader wouldn't have done it. But yeah, the time between that and Palpatine getting his claws back in would be... Obviously, the storyline with Rey and Finn would change because Kylo wouldn't obviously be hunting them out. But they could progress in a different way, maybe with the storyline about Luke. So they'd be busy anyway.
It could just be like a road trip buddy movie, couldn't it?
Yeah, Euro trip.
Yeah.
Scusi.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. Scusi. Chewie's there. They could go and do loads of stuff. And I'm not saying they're just going to sit on a boat and go fishing and I'll be all lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
You've got a broken young man and he's your son. And he thinks the best thing to do is to get his sword out and just start smashing up everything. Because they don't have to do anything too dangerous, but maybe, just have a little mini adventure. Try and bring Kylo back to the light. Because Han also don't have a clue. He knows the Force. He knows that it's real because he's seen Luke and Leia do it.
He knows it exists now.
And maybe he feels it a little bit, but he's no Jedi. So he's
No.
gonna talk to Kylo from the perspective of not Snoke, not Palpatine, not Luke. It's just gonna be as a man who isn't bowing down to his every word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to think about what they would actually do, but I think in the little time where he did agree to go with Han, it would be quite special. But then the Empire would just probably try and look for him anyway, so it would just be trying to evade the stormtroopers that are running after him, because they always get in the way, don't they?
Turn it into Star Wars by A24.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'd just be a bit more. Yeah, it could just be a bit more sort of psychological,
Yeah.
kind of thriller or thinky.
Yeah.
It could be good. So I have an alternate sort of scenario that I've been thinking about.
Well, I've been chatting away.
So when you said if Han managed to convince Kylo to not be a baddie anymore, you said, oh, maybe that'd be the end of the story. The story's not very good at that point. What if Kylo then decided to team up? And he knows about Snoke. Nobody else really knows about Snoke at that point.
Yeah.
He knows about Snoke. He knows he's the evil guy out there, and he then becomes the good guy. He becomes the Jedi that we're waiting for in the film. So we watch it at the start. We see Rey. She discovers the lightsaber. We see Finn. He has a go with the lightsaber as well.
Yeah.
There is some battling going on.
Oh, we're confused as to whether it's Finn or whether it's Rey.
But what if, instead of it being either Finn or Rey, actually it's Kylo.
And he's actually the Grey Jedi.
And he comes back around to be on a more balanced position. Like I say, Grey Jedi, then he, with the Rebel Alliance, is then able to go and hunt down Snoke, or, maybe he takes on Rey as an apprentice, or Finn.
Yeah.
And they team up. Maybe they go as a threesome. I don't know. Maybe they
the new Han, Luke, and Leia.
Yeah, and then from there, instead of it being... So one of the criticisms for the film was, it's just episode 4 again. The Starkiller Base is just the Death Star. Kylo Ren's just Darth Vader. Snoke's the Emperor. Rey is just Luke Skywalker coming off of a sandy planet.
Yeah.
Just discovering that she's actually got some powers with a droid in tow.
Yeah. Before
bumping into
the pilot,
Han Solo.
Yeah.
Etc. So there are similarities, but at that point, if he could be convinced to change his ways, it'd be such a U-turn in the story that actually...
Imagine if, because I said that he would revert back to being evil at the end anyway.
Well, he might still do, but at that point, he's
changed.
And we don't know that he's being influenced by Palpatine at this point, so in that moment he might go, oh, shit, yeah, I'm really sorry, I've been a bit of a bad boy, haven't I?
Yeah.
I know how to fix this. Off he goes.
Yeah.
Rey's there because she's there with Chewie, isn't she?
She is, yeah. Yeah.
And Finn's somewhere nearby as well. Well, they're all together, aren't they? More or less, I think.
Yeah.
Because they find Rey in the ship because she's looking after herself, and then they catch up, and then they go and do the other stuff. He could then be introduced, and she could be like, I know you somehow.
Yeah.
There'd be some sort of weird link between, because she's already had that experience of the Force, and he'll be able to sense that.
Yeah.
And then maybe they go, oh, there's something about you.
Yeah. I will train you.
Yeah. Do you fancy being trained? Yes. Okay. Well, we've got a bit of a mission to do, and then from there, they go and take on Snoke and go from there. And you could actually have the same scene where Rey and Kylo actually fight Snoke and all those Red Guards.
Back to back, all of the Knights, because they're the Knights of Ren, aren't they?
No, they're
just the Imperial Guard.
They're just the Red Guards, aren't they? The Imperial
Guard. Yes.
Which are badass.
Yes, they are cool, aren't they? I love them. The little plasma blades.
When you see them in episode, was it episode 5 and episode 6, because they're the Emperor's personal guard, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because they're red and everybody else is in black or white. They really stand out. They look cool. Yes, so you could still have that scene anyway, where they're fighting Snoke and fighting those guards, because there is that moment where they get to the end of it and they pass out, and when Rey revives, Kylo's gone.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where they share
There
a
is
common goal.
There is a moment in the fight in there, and they actually work together as well.
They do, because they can see they're both going to be killed.
Yeah.
Or they're both going to survive.
Yeah.
Because those red guards are incredibly strong.
Yeah, they're badass.
So it wouldn't be that much of a stretch for him to be like, yeah, great fight. Like, oh yeah, we've done it. We've saved each other. Rey, you've come on so much since you started learning from me. We've taken on Snoke. That's it. That's the end of the story. Until, of course, Palpatine turns up and there's more to it.
Yeah.
But what this also enables is if you don't have Kylo Ren as being the Jedi, the Force wielding Sith
baddie,
then there's no need for Luke to return.
Yeah.
And as much as we like Luke and we like seeing his powers and his story arc of coming back into power, because he's turned himself off, hasn't he? Essentially,
he's powered down.
He has, and he's pushed away all his well, he hasn't pushed away the knowledge. He's pushed away his ability to stay cloaked and hidden. And a chunk of those films is just his rediscovery, but actually, it doesn't make that much of a difference.
No.
Because when he turns up again, it's only really to fight Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Who he pretends to fight because he's not really there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't beat him, but he makes a fool of him and gives the rest of the rebels a chance to escape, but then they wouldn't be there in the first place because Kylo Ren's on the good side.
Yeah. I love that idea, actually. I love that idea of him and Rey having some little, like, Anakin and Ahsoka-esque adventures. Because he could still... Because if that's the case, he could still be an angry little twat.
Yeah.
He could still get violent, and Rey would just be going, will you stop it? Sorry, child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he could still get angry, but they could still, through common necessity, go together. And they could argue, and at times Rey could help him.
Yeah.
And he would be like, oh, this is actually quite a nice bit of force healing, which just some Jedi get as plot armor. Or he could show her things, and there might be a point where they're surrounded by stormtroopers because the evil Knievel Empire's caught up with them, and they're going, "What are you doing, Kylo? You're supposed to be here with us. You're
part of the Rebel Alliance and a spy."
Yeah, you've turned your cloak. You're a turn cloak, or whatever they call them.
Yeah,
you've abandoned us, and now you're a traitor. And he's going, "Well, no, I'm not. I'm just doing this job over here. I need to do this. Leave me alone." And they go, "No, take aim." And then Rey's there defending him. She raises a little magic sword.
Yeah.
And he lets his little cross guards out, and they just go, all right, well, I'm here if you are.
Yeah.
And then they fight the bad guys, and then he starts to realise, oh, the bad guys are after me, but who's leading the bad guys?
Somebody
Snoke.
else, yeah.
Snoke's told them to come and look for me and kill me.
But there's also, of course, Donald Gleason's character. He's the commander, isn't he? He is the guy in charge of the Imperials on Starkiller
the
base.
ginger bloke with the bad attitude.
Yeah, he's really cool.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I like his character. He could be the one chasing Kylo because he gets obsessed with him
he
leaving.
Is super angry.
Yeah,
and his anger probably spurs on Kylo's anger in the actual films.
Yeah,
because he also wants more.
Yeah, more power. More.
So.
Because isn't it he who destroys them planets? It's not Kylo, is it? Who does it? It's him.
So I think it works in the same sort of way as Darth Vader's a very personal attacker. He will fight people face to face because there's still honor.
Yeah.
Within
samurai.
Yeah, within that sort of realm of the jet. Like Darth Vader will kill normal gunners and whatever in battle. But I don't think he's cold-blooded enough to just be like, right, there's a planet there.
Yeah, push that button.
Whereas when you saw Grand Moff Tarkin, he was like, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Full power.
Yeah.
Single phase.
Yeah.
Wipe out Alderaan.
Yeah.
gone. Not even really a second thought. He actually was desperate to do it.
Yeah,
And-
he was.
And the other guy in Starkiller Base, he's the same. He just wants to see the power. They've created it. He wants to suck all the energy out of the sun to then destroy 5 planets at once to show how powerful
Yeah.
this thing is.
Yeah.
So I think Kylo Ren, he also shares that he would rather be in the middle of a battle, one-on-one with people.
Yeah. Than at the end of a button.
Yeah, because that's not the way.
Mm.
There's no
This is
honour in
not-
that.
This is not the way.
They serve the same master and they have the same end goal, but the methods for getting there are very different.
Very different. Yeah.
Otherwise, Kylo Ren would probably be actually in charge.
Yeah, because he's not actually in charge like Vader was, is he? I know there's Grand Moff Tarkin with Vader, but Vader seems to be more in charge, and like he allows stuff to happen.
I would say that Tarkin was in charge. It was his thing.
His fleet, yeah.
Darth Vader was there as sort of maybe not an overseer, but maybe an advisor or a kind of a. He's the sort of the right hand man. He's not his lapdog or anything. He's just they've got the common goal. Palpatine saying, "Right, you're in charge of this." Darth Vader, you're there to make sure everybody's doing their thing.
Yeah.
He's like the auditor.
Yeah.
For the
I guess so. Yeah, because he's Palpatine's left hand man. It's like when you're in the office and the big boss sends his left hand man into the office, and you're like, "Well, I'm the boss, but you're his boss. You're his man." So we're sort of on the same level, really, just different sort of tact. Yeah. I really like that with Kylo and Rey sort of teaming up.
Yeah, I think because we get that
Starsky and Hutch.
We get that little glimpse in that battle room, and that's really cool. And
yeah. I think that bit stands out to me actually quite a lot because you see, and this is why I say that Kylo does have that. He could put the saber down with Han because of moments like that, and you think, oh, he's just a good guy, though, isn't he?
And not to mention the fact that in the film he betrays Snoke.
Yeah,
you know he can see the lightsaber on the chair next to Snoke, and he manipulates the situation where Snoke can see what he's thinking, but he's mirroring the motion he's about to do for twisting the lightsaber with another emotion. So he clouds Snoke's vision.
Yeah,
it's very clever, but he uses that moment where he's going, "Hang on, we're supposed to be on the same side here."
Yeah.
But I'm gonna defeat you, and Rey's gonna get saved because she was in a chokehold.
Yeah, she was in a bad way.
You've
got to think she'd only done a couple of fights. She's not even been trained.
Yeah,
she's there fighting. She should have been chopped down straight away. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Little side note here.
Luke was refusing to train her really.
Yeah.
So she's
had no
very
swordsmanship.
minimal. Yeah.
No force. Like the second she went up against them Red Guard, they would have taken one look at her and gone,
"You got no chance."
Bitch slap. Yeah. But the story needed her to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why Kylo's quite a good swordsman. Which is different as well. Let's just on another little side note here. Because his sword looks like a British broadsword.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Do you notice that his lightsaber fighting stance is different to everybody else's?
It's very powerful. It's very strong. Isn't it? Like he's holding something that's heavy.
Yeah, it's like our old knights holding a claymore.
Yeah,
I know the Knights of Ren people. All right, he is a knight.
Well, the fact they're called knights, it sort of is an indicator, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's so far removed from what we've discussed before about the Jedi being like samurai.
Yeah,
and how they have different forms and movements. And say Dooku and Kylo had a fight, Dooku would absolutely he'd just look at him and laugh.
Yeah,
because there's no finesse.
But
Kylo is still very good swordsman because of the way he fights.
But the way to look at it is, if they weren't holding laser swords that will just cut through everything, and there was actual weight, and they had the relative sized physical steel. If Dooku was to fight Kylo, yes, he might be quicker, he might get more smaller cuts in. Kylo might take more damage in a sense of he's got multiple injuries. But if Kylo lands one or two blows in his style, That's all it takes.
Yeah.
So the fighting styles gamble on, do you think you can hit once and make it count? Or would you rather have the chance to hit multiple times?
Yeah.
And
wear them down slowly.
Yeah.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
So it's just different. It's just different tactics, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Darth Vader's a very slow fighter.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Even when we see him sped up in Rogue One,
yeah,
he's quick because he has to be quick. He's not Anakin quick anymore.
No.
Because he's now a robot, essentially, isn't he? He's more machine than man now. So he is slower, but he's more powerful and he's more direct with his movements. And Kylo Ren's like the unrefined version almost.
Yeah.
He's still a little bit hasty. He's still a bit. And that's why Rey's able to sort of
keep up with him. I
go
guess,
toe to toe. Yeah,
he's just so frustrated. It's like frustrated fighting.
Yeah,
he's not focusing.
He's not thinking about what he's doing. He's just go. Yeah, it's just he can't
break away from that.
Yeah,
and that's sort of thought process, can he? Oh, I love that little idea. I do. I think that's so cool. Because then, Rey could maybe get through to him and be like, we need to find Luke. So it was the first film and Han said, all right, come with us. And then he meets Rey. And very quickly he says, Dad, I'm not coming with you. I've had enough.
Yeah.
You betrayed me, but me and Rey are going to go off. We're going to find a Jedi temple, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you would help find Luke. And there would be no there'd be no reconciliation there with Luke. But when they found Luke at the end and Rey's like, look who I've got here. And maybe they will have a little fight. Maybe Luke would say, look, son, you can put me down if you want. I know what I did.
I've had enough.
I've had enough now. I've made this mistake with you and before. That's for another episode. Do it if you'll feel peace. It might not be the Jedi way, but the Jedi way now has got to be different. If you need this to have closure to feel better, maybe this act will set you free. And then,
then it's up to him.
Then it's up to him. And then maybe after all of that, we'll have Obi-Wan and Anakin style sort of friendship. Obviously, with Rey and Kylo. And it's just these little tipping points for Kylo because we see it through all the films, all the little times when you go, he might actually be a good guy here.
He might just do
it. He might just come on. And
See,
then he's still angry.
Maybe that's the biggest mistake of the films, is not making him find the good early enough.
Yeah,
because they need. That's where you can compare him to Darth Vader. Darth Vader's a baddie from the start until basically near enough the end.
Yeah,
and Kylo, same, isn't he?
Yeah.
It would make the story slightly different. So I like the idea of them taking it in a different route, but obviously it's
not Star Wars, though, is it?
It's
more for book Star Wars than film Star Wars. Film Star Wars is a very sort of. I'm not dissing it, by the way. It's just a very set. This needs to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas I find in the books and the comics, I haven't read loads, but the more I sort of look into stuff, especially for this, you get to see that storylines are a bit more. This happened because it's not a film. This, because it's a book, it's easier to
give them freedom to explore. It's one writer going, basically doing what we're doing.
Yeah, just in a novel.
And just going, what if we took this little scenario here and we swapped it, the outcome to this, and then they take that path? Yeah. And where in some of the previous episodes we've talked about stuff that actually it would be detrimental to the story. This, I don't think, would have that same effect. I think this would lift the story out of where what we expect it to be, because we've seen it twice before.
Yeah.
To now make its own path and be like, oh, people can come back from the dark side, and still have life left.
Yeah, not at the end.
Not at the end. Repent because I still want to go to heaven.
Yeah.
That's
Jedi heaven. I still want to come back as a Force ghost of me in my 20s.
As long as you feel bad in that last second, you can still go up.
Yeah.
I think making that difference, the story would have changed enough to actually keep it interesting. And they might have had to find a new baddie or a new something later on to keep it to make it into a trilogy, because some of those things that happened wouldn't happen. I mean, when the flotilla of rebel ships are getting chased,
Yes.
that's not the most exciting thing I've ever seen in Star Wars.
No.
And it goes on and on.
Yeah, it's a long old sequence, that, isn't it?
And I know it's broken up with other bits, but that's Kylo chasing there in Snoke's ship.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a nice little way to sort of destroy that ship and whatever. Very cool. But if there was no chase there, that you could have then turned it into something else, which could have been perhaps more exciting.
Yeah.
Perhaps it could have been another adventure somewhere else.
Yeah, because you could have had, maybe Finn could have turned into a bad guy because Kylo and Rey's going off on all these adventures.
Maybe
he
feels
jealous,
bad about it, yeah.
Gets jealous. And then that starts to eat away at him. And then maybe...
Or maybe Kylo and Finn become the Jedi.
Yeah.
And Rey's left there going, well, hang on.
Yeah. What do you feel in Finn that you didn't feel in me?
Yeah.
And then she gets upset, and then she's like, hold on a minute.
Or all three of them just gone together.
Yeah.
And become a proper little band.
Yeah, the Biffy Clyro of
the three amigos.
Yeah. And maybe at the end, because at the end of the trilogy, it could still be Rey who just goes to fight Palpatine.
Yeah, because it could have just been she gets separated somehow, or maybe because remember,
she feels it in the Force to go there, doesn't she?
Because spoiler alert if you've not watched the film, and they've been around a few years now, Rey is related directly to Palpatine.
Yeah, we never find out how, do we?
I think she's the granddaughter, isn't she?
Of a clone. I think a clone grows up as a kid. Because he clones himself, doesn't he, Palpatine? He's trying to clone himself to stay alive. But there's obviously no Kaminoans. Yeah, and then I think I might have read somewhere that one of the lads had a family, and she's obviously thingy. Because she only calls herself Skywalker at the end because
she didn't want to be a Palpatine.
Yeah, but a Skywalker ain't much better.
Yeah, it's a checkered past, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but yeah, so maybe Finn and Kylo could go in to do something important, just as important. Rey goes to fight Palpatine anyway, because it's still her story. It's not about Kylo redempting; it's about Rey finding the Force. The last Jedi. But she wouldn't be the last Jedi by the end.
No,
because Kylo would be there with her, and maybe it would go full circle, and the ending of that film could be like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan stepping off of the ship, but it could be Kylo and Rey stepping off of the ship, and it's got Padawan and Master
just about to broker a trade deal.
Yeah, to go and speak about a trade deal. Leia could still die.
Yeah,
Kylo Ren could still, maybe he could kill Han, but it wouldn't be in the same anger-fueled scenario. Maybe something else would happen, and he would still die. Because the story has to progress that way.
Yeah, because he can still lapse into angry moments, can't he? He can have the overall, I'm trying to be good.
Yeah,
I'm going to defeat the other bad guys, but actually I still have anger towards my parents or whoever.
Yeah.
And in a momentary lapse of frustration, I lashed out and I killed.
Yeah.
I killed
I didn't mean to
parent.
force push him into the sea, but I did.
But he said something that wound me up, and
and I lashed out, and now he's repenting that, and maybe he still wears his mask instead of black. It's just grey.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And
he does a full-on Gandalf.
Yeah,
changes colour.
Yeah, and Rey does all the talking, even though she's the younger one. Maybe he just becomes this sort of cool master, sort of Neo-esque, silent type. But yeah,
have we just fixed the final trilogy?
I would like to see that. I don't know, done as a book, maybe like a what if book, or maybe like a little cartoon series or something. Somebody
with some actual talent puts
it together,
a full-on story together. Rather than just us making up a couple of
like an hour long
tidbits.
It could literally just be an hour long of some stuff they do.
Yeah,
because that's such a good way to end the saga. Is the first scenes of the Trade Federation thing with Obi and Qui-Gon. And then it could basically mirror it.
Well, because
it doesn't have to end with I'm Rey Skywalker. It could end with them coming off the ship, and then they both lift their heads off, and she goes, "Well, Master, what are we doing here? And then he could say what Qui-Gon said
Yeah.
in the first, and you just go,
Because everything's circular.
yeah. And we find that out in Ahsoka, don't we?
Yeah, everything.
You can't stop the
The
going
cycle.
round in circles of the Jedi good and bad.
And
The
it's the
Force wants it to happen.
The Matrix as well says the same thing.
Yeah, you can't stop it, and it'll just go back to the beginning again.
Yeah.
But it might be different because Kylo's in grey, not creamy white, Buddha robes.
Yeah.
Maybe he's in grey. Maybe Rey's in grey. Maybe both their lightsabers are orange.
Rey's
like, what's his face out of Ahsoka? Balon.
Oh, okay.
Is it Balon? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, but I know Rey's is orange, but it's not orange like his in Ahsoka. It's a bit of a sort of whiter orange, isn't it?
Yeah.
But maybe both of theirs are then orange. Because obviously Ahsoka's before all that. So all of this can happen, and maybe, we find out that, it's just going to keep going round in circles.
Yeah.
But that's all right, because every time little things change and it gets a little bit different. I'd love to see Kylo in a grey.
Yeah, Kylo fighting the good fight.
Yeah, because he wouldn't be a Knight of Ren, would he? He could literally be Kylo Solo.
he could be a samurai knight.
He could be. Or he could still retain the knight and be a Knight of the Realm with his crossguard.
Yeah.
Maybe he wears a helmet and he changes it to look like an old English.
Oh, but like a letterbox.
Yeah.
For his eyes.
Yeah. And a little face mask, and he lifts it up to talk to people. And it's, because of the crossguard thing is very British.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like a rapier or a samurai sword.
No.
You fixed it there. You have fixed the last bit of the trilogy.
That's cool.
That's actually such a nice idea.
Well, before we mess it up any further,
Yep.
I think this is a good place to wrap up.
Sounds good to me. Before I get too excited.
Yeah, and as always, we would love people to get in touch and send us an email, send us a DM. All the information is in the show notes. You can find us on Instagram at WIQGDD. What if Qui-Gon didn't die? As an acronym, nice and easy.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear your feedback. Have you got any alternative ideas to that? Would you like to just tell us that we're rubbish and what we're talking is nonsense?
Yeah.
Because we can't ever deny it, but we'd love to talk about it.
Yeah.
Get in touch. And anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I think you said it all about the getting in touch. Please do. And if there are any books out there that describe some of the things we're talking about, let me know as well. Because if I can find out little bits of information from the lore that is almost canon, or even if it's not canon, if there's a certain book that I can get some information on that we've glossed over, let me know.
Yeah.
Because then I can insert it into this, and we can have a bit more clarity on who says what and when. Yeah. Granted, we're not a factual show. This isn't a lore deep dive podcast. This is just a theory podcast almost.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to sort of say, if you have a look at this, you'll see that actually this happens here.
Yeah, because we would actually take things from fact to turn them into something else. So that all that feedback is actually really helpful. Because it'll help us create a good answer to the questions we ask, because then we can correlate back to this and go, well, actually that can't happen because in this story this is how this happened. We would have to change another thing, which leads on to another question, because you'll find out in this week's Chinwag, but we both also have full-time jobs. Yeah. So finding these things for myself and Jamie looking on things as well is quite difficult with the time we have. So if we're pinpointed to good, factual, or even this is a good idea base for this comic here or something like that, it's all appreciated. If you'd like to get in touch, please do. Yeah. Right. Well, with that being said, look after yourselves. Be good. And stay out of the sand.